Mike, of course, the first away fixture coming up for you is this weekend, a pretty short trip compared to what you used to in this division. But first off, just how are the boys kind of approaching things off the back of last weekend?
Yeah, we've had a good week's prep. Obviously, we analysed the game last week and disappointing result off the back of how we started. But yeah, it's a perfect match for us, obviously. They're a huge club. It's a big local derby, and one we're relishing.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the local kind of aspect of it. Obviously, two teams not too far apart in a geographical sense, so a decent amount of supporters from our end going down there as well. I mean, what can that kind of add to the atmosphere, the occasion, and I suppose as well on the flip side, it can kind of add to the pressure for some as well.
Yeah. I mean, it certainly does. I think. For us, these boys embrace that pressure, and we're looking forward to it. I think the following from both clubs is going to be decent, so there'll be a lot of noise, but like I say, we've got a job to do. Ultimately, it's 3 points at stake, and we both feel as though if we turn up and we're up to the levels we want to be, then we'll be able to get the win on both sides. So, like I say, it'll be a fiercely contested game, one that you're really going to have to earn the right and win the battle. But ultimately, you've got two good teams, two good sets of individual players, and we've got to be focused on the small margins.
Yeah, and Hartlepool, of course, coming into it, their first home game back in the division for a fair few years. I mean, I've heard a few people kind of speak of it in a sense of obviously them getting off to a defeat in their first week, that it'll add even more sort of desire to come back from that, especially in their first home game. But I mean, how do you sort of view it in that sense? Are you not really thinking about that aspect of it?
Well, no. Look, we've watched their game and they didn't deserve to lose. So I think on the face of it, you've got to look at the performance and not just the outcome. Obviously, yeah, they've had off the back of a difficult season, but what that does, it gives the players that have had unbelievable league experience and puts them in good stead, and they're going to want to bounce straight back up. So obviously the size of the club, I think, speaks for itself. That's what they're going to be looking to do, and yeah, it makes it even more perfect for us to go there and try and stamp our authority on the game and play the way we want to play.
Yeah, and in terms of, I mean, away form, when you look at it in that sense, I think towards the back end of last season, and to be fair, even across the season as a whole, the away form was quite a positive note. Took quite a few points on the road last season, but is there anything really that you feel like you can kind of carry over from last season to this season when you're involved new players and everything in trying to keep that kind of away form going? I suppose some people kind of separate home and away quite heavily, but how do you sort of see things from your point of view?
Well, it's continual improving. Obviously, we've got a way we want to play. We've got a process. We've got markers and objectives that we want to try and achieve. But yeah, again, ultimately, you have to earn the right. You have to win the physical battle. You have to pick up second balls. You have to do the ugly stuff of the game when you go into such a big game like it is. Like you say, geographically, it's very close. I'm taking it as a local derby, and you've got to make sure that you're focused on that detail, else it'll pass you by. But ultimately, yeah, we've got a group that will embrace the pressure, embrace the noise, and yeah, we're looking forward to the outcome.
Yeah, and obviously following Saturday, I mean, you've got another away game on Tuesday, a pretty long trip, but when you factor that into approaching this weekend, does that have any kind of effect on decisions that you have to make for Saturday or not?
No, not at all. It's we'll look at them in an isolated game, one by one. We're looking, after Saturday we'll look at the Dagenham game, but now we're just focused on putting the strongest team out in the best preparedness we can, and to try and achieve that result.
Yeah, and in terms of the picture, fitness-wise for the boys off the back of last week, how are things looking at the moment?
Yeah, same really. We've got a couple of late fitness tests, but yeah, like I say, we've got a good squad now, so it's driving the standards up, like I've mentioned before, and we're fit and healthy going into the game.